So let's continue our tier list today with rank 2 of the French ground forces. I highly suggest watching the first video if you want to know all the details about how I'm ranking these vehicles and how the tier list works. The rank 2 for France, much like many other minor nations, starts to see in its tech tree vehicles from major nations, to fill in some gaps. For France, at this rank and above, we'll see mostly American vehicles. Since we've already covered American vehicles in a dedicated tier list, I'll just quickly go over them and their placement in the tier list will mostly be the same. Without further ado, let's get started. Our first vehicle today is the AMD 35 pack. This armored car was featured in the German tier list since both tech trees share this vehicle. It will sit in A tier, of course. It's pretty much a Puma at a lower BR. Great speed and top mobility are already a good combo, but on top of that you have a strong German APHE shell, so there you go. Even stock, this vehicle is pure bliss to play. The next light tank we have is the Crusader Mark II. This one is from the British tech tree, and as you can expect from a British tank, its best shell is an AP1. The mobility is not as good as the MD-35, but the trade-off is that you have your crew slightly better protected, and that your reload is much shorter. You also gain access to a ton of smoke grenades, it's like 50 or something, and they should be actively used when playing this vehicle. However, I think that the AMD-35 is just much better while sitting at the same BR, so the Crusader will go in B. A good flanker for hit-and-run tactics, but that's it. Another light tank sitting at 2.7 and probably also outshined by the AMD-35 is the M3A3 Stuart. This model of the Stuart is not in the American tech tree if I'm correct. It has the sloped armor of the M5A1, but it's a downgraded version of it overall. Worse mobility, less armor, same fast reload, but only fires AP. You'll have to play it once again as a fast flanker, but I can't help but think that the Crusader and the AMD-35 are comparatively just better, so this one will go in C tier. Our first medium tank is once again an American vehicle, the M4A1 Sherman, and this one is identical to the one found in the American tech tree. Potent APHE shell, a stabilizer, average speed and average armor. This tank can pair well with other vehicles at 3.7 and will have the same rating as the one we gave it before, which is A tier. We now reach the heavy tank line, and we finally have some unique French vehicles there. The first one is the B1 bis. This tank is pretty much an improved version of the D2. A strong armor once angled, the slow mobility of a heavy tank, but this time you have something a bit unique with this one since it carries an additional cannon on its hull. This cannon is a 75mm gun, and you might think, BR 2.3, hull cannon of 75mm, this thing is a French M3 Lee. Yeah, no. The armor penetration of both cannons of this tank is very weak, the 75mm having less penetration than the 47mm turret cannon. On top of that, the velocity of both guns is very low, which makes long-range shots slightly difficult. This tank requires you to brawl to make the most out of it. The main issue with having such low penetration is the fact that when facing other highly armored vehicles, you might be stuck in an endless loop of non-penetration. The hull cannon is also not that useful when you need to angle because its traverse is nearly non-existent. In other words, unless you keep your armor straight at the opponent, you won't be able to use it. Last but not least, you don't have many options when it comes to lineups, so for all those reasons, I'll put it in C. The other heavy tank at this BR is the SPAA 2C. Now, this tank will go straight in D because it's not bad but very niche. This one is a World War I vehicle, so as you can expect, facing World War II vehicles might be problematic at times. This tank has numerous advantages. It has a very powerful APHE round with 350 grams of TNT inside. Basically, whatever you shoot at will die of overpressure. This shell, however, has low penetration, and so you will struggle a lot against vehicles in even a slight up tier. Your size is massive, but you have 12 dudes in that vehicle. One-shotting you is almost impossible. The enemy will either have to ammo rack you, or pick your crew members one by one for several minutes. Lanes, however, can spot you and bomb you quite easily. The 2C also has a very good gun depression of -20 degrees, and your maximum top speed of only 15 km an hour basically makes you a stabilized vehicle. Despite the low speed, this tank turns honestly pretty well on the spot, probably due to its massive trucks. Finally, don't expect to bounce many shots. Remember, World War I vehicle means World War I armor. Honestly, this vehicle is super fun to play, but I would reserve it for down tiers only and hope that you can land on an urban map with close quarter combat. Moving on to the anti-airs, the first one is the CCKW 353AA. This one is better at hunting tanks than planes. It carries a 40mm autocannon, capable of penetrating tanks frontally. Add that to a good top speed of 64 km an hour and you get a very dangerous flanker. The main weaknesses of this vehicle is first of all the size. You are pretty long, the non-existence of the armor which makes your crew vulnerable to even machine gun fire, the low fire rate of the gun which makes plane hunting slightly more challenging, and the fact that you don't have an APHE belt, which means multiple shots will be required to kill a single tank. This last one might be a bit personal, but I found that the recoil is pretty rough, making accurate shots difficult to land if you keep firing relentlessly. Overall, an okay SPAA for tank hunting, but less effective against planes. This one will sit in B tier. The second SPAA of this rank is the VTT-DCA. This one is just an M16 at a much higher BR, with the only difference of having a different chassis. You trade the excellent mobility of the half-track for slightly better crew protection. It's probably too high in BR for what it is, but for plane hunting, it still works pretty well. Quite heavy machine guns are easy to use and to aim, plus they tend to trigger fires quite consistently. Don't use it for anything else. C tier. We now reach the tank destroyer line with the M4A3-105 as our first vehicle. Literally the same as the one in the American tech tree, so same rating, A tier. Nasty medium tank with punchy heat and HE shells, great armor, Sherman mobility, but long reload and slow turret traverse. You love playing it, you hate facing it. The M10 is our final tank, and just like the M4A3-105, will face the same treatment, since we rated it before already. It's a B tier tank destroyer. The main problem of this TD is that it doesn't have a lineup. You can't really up tier it, however, since the cannon remains very powerful, even against higher BR vehicles. Also, remember that your turret traverse is abysmal. Apart from that, it's a powerful tank destroyer. And that's it for rank 2. This rank provides France with alternatives to their own unique tanks, and since most of them are American, they are quite easy to play. If you played the US tech tree before, those vehicles might be redundant or boring, so that's when you start looking at the more unique vehicles this rank has to offer, even if they aren't as good. If France is your first nation, use the American vehicles to grind this rank, but if you're a veteran, I'd give the French vehicles a shot. Once again, I hope this was useful to you. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this ranking, and with that said, I'll see you in the next one.